Whoa,
What?
10.99.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Lights.
Alright, hold on. Oh hey, I have something we can make noise with now. This is not how I thought my day would start.
Welcome.
Set on a pot. Set on it on.
Were you trying to sing that?
That's the only thing that makes sense. It's erratic.
Just never mind.
Just ignore it. And also, pour water into it. Gather the pieces, therefore, into it. Even every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock and burn also the bones under it. And make it boil well, and let them seethe the bones of it Ethereum. Thus saith the Lord. Woe to the bloody city, to the pot, whose scum, Ethereum, and those who get going. Scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out, piece by piece. Oh, dude. You're in my way. Though not rot fall upon it.
Greg.
Where is she? Where'd she go? She came down this way. I'm sure of it. Find her! Find her. And burn her. Burn the witch! 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 Burn her! 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 Burn her!
Then will I leave thy upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heavens to remain upon thee. And I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee. And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains. And the rivers shall be filled of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven, and make the stars therefore dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. all the bright lights of the heaven, while I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. Thou seem to have lost them. Now, where am I? Where should I go from here? What am I to do?
My hero girl.
It's me, I guess.
Keebo.
Yeah. Darkness spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light shines down upon me. All that strokes my cheek are tendrils of darkness. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in a body. There exists no kindness in the shadow, only solitude. I've lost track of how long I've been on the road. I'm wandering aimlessly, lost, until I arrived at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. O Father, who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart and ask of thee thy blessing. O Father, who art in heaven, I ask of thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please, have mercy upon my soul. O Father, who art in heaven, I do love thee, hallowed by thy name. Please show me the way. I may be shunned and persecuted. I may have no place to go. But nevertheless, I am unable to give up on life, to cast aside my own hope. O Father, who art in heaven, please guide me unto salvation. O Father, who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became not by running. When it becomes endless wandering in the dark. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice has become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, my conscience begun sinking into a hazy morass. A mansion appears before me, wrapped in a morning fog that seems to foretell rain. Oh my. The mansion comes into view, like the world fading in after a dream. It doesn't appear as though all the windows I had boarded up are shattered, as if it's long since been abandoned. A tower, which seems out of place in a personal residence, stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems as though it could disappear with the fog. It has an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. However, if this is where you have led me, then I shall follow your guidance. I have nowhere else to go. This mansion is my only salvation. The light that guides my way. And so, I must have faith that no matter what I find, whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, that this is where I will find peace. Is anyone there? I guess it is abandoned. That makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in a house empty, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. I can't imagine anyone spending their days here. I place my hand on the front door. What if I can't get in? I very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay, wandering around through the woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. The door is heavy, and though it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression. Light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depths. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I close the door, it's so dark. I can't even tell where I'm walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I manage to fumble my way over to a window, tightly shuttered, and the shutters are caked with rust. Probably not going getting it open without a fight. Only had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like the floor will fall out from under me, and I sink into internal darkness if I don't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There's a door at the end of the long corridor. I pull it open, a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Is anybody here? My voice simply disappeared into the void. No response. As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I saw a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered. I'm covered by drapes. My chances are so magical. possibility against the light in here, it's worth a shot. I pull open the drapes. In the next moment, faint but colorful light shines down on me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I could hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it's finally started. The different colors of light blend into the milky white dim, but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, and
Please not touch the drapes. Or the windows.
suddenly I hear a voice. I can sense someone else in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long, he comes into view, illuminated by the dull orange candlelight. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited. But, I did announce myself. The man stands there, purposely blending in with the darkness. Has he been there the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. The candle in his hand and a light from the stained glass windows are the only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred. Gives off an impression that he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies. I assumed the house was abandoned.
I suspect you would prefer it to be abandoned.
Not at all. Is this... do you live in this mansion?
Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I barred the front door. It would seem I left it open. What brings you here? If you're lost, I'm happy to give you directions. There's a village west of here. Should take you maybe half a day on foot. You're in need of money? Help yourself to some of the furniture. Ready for food at the village, then make your way to a larger town.
Please allow me to stay here.
Could you repeat that?
I cannot go to the village. No, I cannot go anywhere. I am no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted.
You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed.
I am neither a thief nor an adulterer. If I bear any sin, then it has been with me since birth. I'll do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until it all blows over. If you wish to know my transgression, I will tell you. But please, do not throw me away.
I see. And do you ask this of me, aware of how people refer to this mansion?
Pardon.
It is said that a witch once lived in this house. And not just any witch, a cursed witch. This house has been tainted by seeing hatred, and all who dwell within it meet their demise.
But you live here, don't you?
Like her, I too am cursed.
What kind of curse?
The one thing I can tell you is that your life is in danger. You get involved with me. Should you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life.
You'll kill me.
Yes, so you do not belong here. To live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death.
No matter what path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. I don't care what people say about you, or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange. My heart tells me that I must stay here. That I was guided here. And hearing what you say, what you have to say, only reinforces that.
What are you scheming?
I'm not scheming anything. I am simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. At the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms, or rip the flesh from my bones. And that's enough for me.
If you have committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently?
I am accused of being a witch.
Master, please wake up. Return to me. Have you come to, Master? I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. It must have given you quite the scare. But I beg your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs, and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl? I see. So you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I am deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you have already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master? If you have seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused, and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was, again, her appearance that brought this upon her. That snow-white hair and those ruby-red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that this door is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed, though one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition, proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we have just entered takes us to the period now known as the Middle Ages, long, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known. If, after this tale, you are still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. This door contains the last tale I am able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until it is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in a dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed that nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone did indeed dwell in the house. It was a young man named Michael. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Michael's assertions, the white-haired girl decided she would take up residence within the mansion.
It is Michelle, by the way.
Michelle? Okay. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as still a child. But she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Michelle, and asked,
Is there anything I can do to help? I will clean or cook or do anything. Just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here.
You need not feel in debt to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn to disdain.
But I can't just stay here and do nothing.
Do whatever you like, as long as you do not enter my room. It is all I ask of you.
He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Michelle was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem averse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart.
I should still do whatever I can.
But she did not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life. And she was deeply grateful for that. Thus began their quiet life together, Michelle, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl, who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Two people who knew hardly anything about one another, who were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michelle spent most of his day in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michelle better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed. Why he lived alone in this dark mansion. How many days, how many years he had spent here in solitude. And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candle. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down, one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight.
They're books. Incredible. Real books.
The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines.
There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek. Just a tiny peek, a little peek.
She said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand toward one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest.
Almost.
Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it was still just barely within reach. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to pull the book toward her.
Huh.
The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together. So when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. And then almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her.
Ow.
The white-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it had happened in the fall. But nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back to her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then, suddenly, a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly toward the white-haired girl, then changed course toward another book. It was Michelle. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it.
I'm so sorry. Your books,
What were you doing?
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books.
There's no need to panic.
I'm sorry.
You make it sound as though I'm admonishing you.
What?
Did you want to read a book?
I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean.
Clean.
Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle.
I did say you could do as you pleased, but you have no responsibility to clean anything.
I just ended up making a bigger mess anyways.
You needn't apologize.
Okay.
If you want to read, help yourself to any of the books.
But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it.
You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, by all means.
These are all your books, aren't they?
They are.
That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all.
One per month.
What?
My family sends me one every month.
Every month?
The white-haired girl turned her gaze back toward the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived there in solitude for many years. She was at a loss for words.
They're dull old tombs, dreadfully inoffensive, and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decorations are they good for?
I see.
You can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I'm going to return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up.
Just a moment.
Was there something else?
Could you tell me your name? I just realized I never asked for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make conversations awkward. I want to, though.
Michelle.
Michelle. Like the Archangel. The name suits you quite well.
It suits me.
It does, although it's difficult to see you in the dark. You seem to have a very handsome man, befitting of your name.
I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it. And I made a mistake. It is Michael, not Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I looked it up, and it sounded like you were saying it right, but I
It's
guess
after
there's
the
multiple ways.
Michael the
Archangel.
Archangel. Yeah.
Michael the
Okay.
Archangel. Unless there's another way of saying his name that we don't know.
There is, but I think I know my own name.
I don't know. Do you? I think it's a wonderful name.
And you're... No. Never mind.
Oh, my name. My name is Giselle. Please call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness.
For what?
I was able to get your name and talk to you a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad that I got to hear your voice. Though, very glad.
You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so. There's no need for you to feel joy about it.
I'm not pleased not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing. Not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house.
You do not understand me at all. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you.
But I'm still alive, aren't I?
You are welcome to believe I am lying, but I am merely out of my mind. But it would be too late when you realize the truth.
I'll be fine, I'm sure. And even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern?
No, I simply have no interest in interacting with anyone.
I would like to interact with you. If you don't mind, that is.
As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. You have nothing, not even words, to give you. My body is but a shell, if I were not cursed. My presence would do naught but cause you discomfort.
I don't think that's true. I don't believe. And there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing? There's plenty inside you. You simply haven't noticed it yet. And not all of it will only cause others pain either.
If you truly believe those words, then you're a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone?
Resent them.
I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes, that abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance, drew their condemnation. I can think of any number of reasons that may have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, some kind of external phenomenon. And you were the scapegoat.
Yes, you are by and large correct.
Then that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim to having your interests in mind. Goodbye.
If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime?
Did you listen to anything I said?
I listened, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed to be at your side. It does not matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please consider it if it's not too much trouble.
As the master of the house, Michael, made his way out of the library, he appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart. Or perhaps it was something else. She stared toward the darkness into which Michael had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips.
He's a decent man. I'm sure of it. We're alike. He and I.
And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship, as someone who also knew solitude. It had been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Staying in that house, deprived of light, was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. To anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as a part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the one place she could find respite. She and Michael continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of, leaving her unable to close that gap. Nonetheless, on the occasions they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not have even met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face.
Well, this is troubling. I can't go down to the village. If we don't do something soon.
The cellar was where their food was stored, an assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats, and cheeses. Her daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. But Master, you know a young, delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food.
How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder?
From there, other questions about Michael started rising in her mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, surely he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionless at the door, lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something.
May I ask you a question?
Go on.
I was just down in the cellar, and as we are already... Do you normally go down to the village to restock?
I haven't been outside in 10 years.
And how do you...
What if I told you I don't eat?
What?
That I am not of this world. As such, I have no need of sustenance. What would you think of that?
That sounds very, economical. If you can survive without having to eat, then there's one less thing to worry about. If we're possible. I'd like to have that ability too.
You seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time.
What was I supposed to be afraid?
Never mind. It doesn't matter. You asked about the food in the cellar. It's getting to be about that time. Wait, and you will find out.
What do you...
It's here.
Oh,
If you want to know where my supplies come from, open the door.
but, I'm in hiding.
There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal.
A signal.
The white-haired girl turned toward Michael to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answer yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door.
Oh, bright.
The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not gotten any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark, her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionless for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes had finally adjusted to the light,
What's this?
she noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. He turned her head back to ask Michael about the box, but the mansion was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Michael from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. The white-haired girl had come to yearn for that world without light, more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house. But eventually, she did manage to drag it through the front door. And then, everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air.
You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest.
What's...
Without a word, Michael approached her in the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box.
Go on. Open it up.
At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food.
Is something amusing?
It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was, wondering what might be inside.
We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar.
Oh, we were. It completely slipped my mind. It should last us for some time. It's all preserved, just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all this for you, to you?
There should be a book in there as well.
What? Oh, there is. There it is. In the library, he said that his family sends him one book a month. Does that mean this box comes from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chooses to be here?
Take the book to the library, please. I will bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar.
But it's a big box. I'm sure you could use some help carrying it.
That won't be necessary. Take the book and go.
But
Fine. Then stay here. I'll take care of everything.
wait, hold on, please.
What is it? What is it?
You don't have to answer this if you... And, not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious.
Say what you had to say, please.
I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here, in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be imprisoned here?
I told you this the very first day. I am cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed home.
Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are. I don't know how you feel about it. There's so much I don't know. And I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists.
I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright, then. Come with me.
What?
I'll show you my curse.
As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. That smile carved into his mask was far colder than any look of annoyance or rejection. But despite the twinge of nervousness, she still followed after Michael. As much as she might have stood out in a crowd with such height and long hair, his presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment.
Many things are buried here.
Huh.
Mice, insects, wild cats and dogs. Had you ever thought it strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion?
You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Now that you mention it, it did seem peculiar.
They were all killed by me, or rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now?
A butterfly fluttered its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Michael held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted down upon it to rest its wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment.
All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood, is poison to all life.
But the butterfly's movements began to slow. It spread its wings in one last futile attempt to fight gravity. And then, without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk.
It's dead, all dried up and lifeless. Like it's been dead for days. It's like his finger drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Not even possible. But I saw it with my own eyes. If this is his curse, though it explains much.
There are more than just insect and animal corpses buried here too. Servants who came to visit me long ago.
Are here beneath the ground? Under our very...
That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Should he touch me, should he get near me, his very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Nary a soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you.
never once touched me. When I knocked the books down in the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up. And only one of us ever made contact with the box at the entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine.
My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests mean nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real?
No, I do. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable. But you've shown me more than enough evidence. And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either.
In which case, now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left, you would be killed. But it's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you could make your escape. You do not belong here.
He was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. I can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain that loneliness must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him. Oh no. I will not leave. I will stay here with you.
Leave this place.
No, I will not.
Why? Why do you insist upon remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You had no reason to stay.
Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others, as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse? You're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived. Do whatever you can to not inadvertently kill me. Do not afflict me with your curse.
No.
Here's what I think. No one capable of showing gratitude, genuine care for others, can honestly truly dislike all people. They can't possibly be indifferent.
No,
That day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out. You listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day, I thought you to be a good person. And I still believe that.
I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. I never thought you'd be so foolish as to want to stay in a house like this when a man like me.
How does that make me foolish?
Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant?
The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I should safely sneak away, get myself somewhere far away from here. But even if I did, I would inadvertently find myself in the same situation. The only way I could avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone. To live in solitude, with no one to talk to. And now you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend a day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings with. If that's what awaits me out there, then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life.
Impossible.
Please, don't cast me out.
You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence, but as the number rose, it became clear that I was cursed and was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. I couldn't take it any longer.
So you choose to move here to this remote mansion to keep yourself away from your family. You weren't imprisoned here. You elected to live alone, so you wouldn't hurt anyone.
For better or for worse, I was born to a noble house. So rather than abandon me, they provided me the means to live out of sight.
I will be very careful. I will do everything I can to ensure no accidents occur. To keep you from being alone again. I will not, for any reason, touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes life of anything you touch. I've been here for a while, and death has not befallen me yet. As long as I do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, I apologize if this simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything. And I think you understand just how scary that is. So,
Why are you so stubbornly insistent on it being me. I'm sure there's someone else out there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe someone like you eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward.
It has to be you. I'm certain of it.
Why?
Because, well,
You can't tell me?
no, I can't. Just, please don't get upset with me. I think I might really, really love you.
Greg, do you wish to stop there, or shall we go on?
Yes, I'm gonna have to stop here for now, unfortunately.
That is fine.
An interesting setup.